My name is Daniel Hay. I'm born and raised from England, London. I'm now serving in the paratroopers unit in Battalion 890.
My name is Zina Milstein. I'm 19 years old. I was born and raised in New York. I now live in Israel and I serve as a sniper instructor in the IDF.
Away from family and friend, away from the comforts of home life, these two young soldiers are making their dream come true, their lifelong dream of serving in the IDF.
My Battalion 890 right now is on the border between the Gaza Strip and the Israeli settlements, and our job is just to make sure that no terrorists try to come through the borders, and we keep Israel safe.
Here on base, I'm a sniper instructor. I train soldiers. When we're done, they go into Gaza, and they go on missions and operations.
Zina and Danielle both remember how they felt when they decided to pack their stuff and make Aliyah.
After high school, I decided I was going to spend a year of volunteering in Israel just to find out and see what exactly Israel is and what I've been missing all my life. My year of volunteering consisted of 9 months, and I volunteered in different places throughout Israel. And I fell in love with Israel really instantly. And within just the first few months in Israel, I already knew this was my home, my new home. And I decided I was going to make Aliyah after my year of volunteering and leave my friends and family and just join the army and start my new life in Israel.
Israel's always been a really big part of my life. Ever since I was 3 years old, every summer, my mother, brother, and I used to come to Israel and spend 2 months of the summer. When I was 16 years old, I went on a summer trip in Israel. They took us to a coexistence museum. And this museum had an album with pictures of all the fallen soldiers fighting terrorism. My counselor, who was only 2 years older than me, opened the book, and on the first page, she saw 3 friends of hers that had died. At that moment, I knew, that's it. I have to come here and I have to make Aliyah. Why them and not me? Why should they sit on the borders and guard my home? This is my home, and this is the home of every Jew.
I called my parents up one day in London from Israel, and I told them, Mom, Dad, I think I've got a new home.
So the second I got back from Israel, I said, that's it, I'm going to the army, I'm going to make Aliyah. And everyone was kind of like, yeah, we'll see, And then it finally got to, the end of my senior year when I said, all right, let's go buy this ticket, let's go, let's do it. And everyone was kind of like, wait a minute, you're really going? I've gotten a letter from the States saying we support you and we're proud of you, and that makes all the difference, and it makes you feel so good that you really don't feel alone, even though there are moments where you do feel alone. Sometimes they send us to lone soldiers a present, you get a pillow or something, or a backpack.
The little things that make your life just a bit easier and just put the smile on your face.
It makes you feel good that you know that there's somebody thinking about you back in America, and that's proud of you and supports you in what you do.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Corporal Zina Milstein and Corporal Danielle Hay of the Israel Defense Forces.
We were living in the land of our fathers, and this is our homeland. It was really special to see that we were back in our country, where we were supposed to be.
We talk about it the entire week, what it's like to be a human being, what it's like to be Jewish in a Jewish surrounding, in a community, and in a Jewish country. Our commander to be undergoing this program is first off a better person and a better soldier, and most definitely will be a better commander.
We believe that while defending the borders, we must strengthen the moral values as well as the Israeli Jewish identity of our officers and soldiers. This is what Masai Israeli Bereshit is all about. For us, it is the best formula for young commanders in their development. The experience is great and the feedbacks are outstanding. I hope that we'll be able to send all our young commanders through Masai Israeli Bereshit.
When I saw that something so simple that you could do could mean so much to someone, it was just an amazing feeling. I never knew I had that power.
There are ways to get there if you care enough for the living. Make a little space, make a better place.
I can just talk to a person and it will make his day.
Make it a better place for you and for me and the entire human race. There are people dying. If you care enough for the living, make a better place for you and for me.
You can actually walk the land. Most of us take it as granted. Now I can connect my soldiers to the country we're fighting for. We're actually fighting for this beautiful country, for these people, for our families, for our homes.
I did Aliyah from Argentina. I really hope that in this journey I'll understand what made my parents come here and being such a Zionist.
What do I want to teach my soldiers? What does this land mean to me? Does it mean to me anything? Am I fighting for the land? Or maybe for my family? Maybe for other Jews all around the world?
The values we talk about are friendship, loving your land, loving your country, Zionism.
Hi, my name is Lior. I'm a law and business student at the Interdisciplinary Center at the IDC, next to Tel Aviv in Israel. I was an officer in an elite paratroopers unit called Sayeret Tzanchanim, and that's where I served 3 years as a regular soldier, another year as an officer, and that's where I do my reserve duty today, 30 days a year. It's very different. I mean, the types of things that you think about when you're in high school in the U.S. and you're in high school in Israel are obviously different. In the U.S., you're applying to colleges, you're thinking about, I mean, obviously, what are you going to do in college? Go after chicks, and then study. In Israel, you're thinking about what's the next unit that you're going to, what's the army unit you're going to get into, and it's a completely different lifestyle. But at the end of the day, it's same people, different circumstances. We were in the northern part of Gaza, a part called El Tatra, and our mission was a reconnaissance mission. It was pretty simple. You know, we were looking 300 to 500 yards in front of us into an alley, and our mission was to see, to find if there was any terrorists, any armed people walking in the street. And at one point, we saw the streets are completely empty. Everyone knows no one's supposed to walk there. We see 3 guys sneaking, looking out. And then, I don't know if anyone remembers this, but once a day there were humanitarian breaks in Gaza. What does that mean? That for an hour to 2 hours a day, the fighting stops, and unless you're taking direct fire, you don't engage anyone. And the humanitarian break kicked in, and these 3 guys come out with weapons and walk from one location to the other into a house. And I called it in and I said, you know, we have 3 armed guys I know we're during a humanitarian break, but I mean, once this humanitarian break ends, they're going to endanger either me and my team or other forces in the area. And the answer was, we're during humanitarian break, we're not doing anything. And so we kept our eyes on them. And the second the humanitarian break ended, the same 3 guys, the equipment's very good, you can actually see the faces, the same 3 guys come out, this time, no vests and no weapons. And I called it in again and I said, I know what these guys were doing before, I know what they'll do later. I mean, it's very obvious. Am I allowed to engage? And after many deliberations and headquarters deliberating and matching faces to intelligence, at the end of the day, after around 4 or 5 hours of talking about this on the radio, the decision was that they're not armed. The rules of engagement said if they're not armed, you don't fire. And that was the decision. Nothing ended. There's no big ending to the story. But when I heard a lot of criticism about the way the IDF handled itself in this conflict, I always bring myself back to this question. Imagine in a macro level, 25 guys in the middle of combat wasting 5 hours of their time to make sure that no mistakes are being made. Now, does that mean that no mistakes were made during this conflict? Absolutely not. But the question of intent, which is the most important, in my eyes, is crystal clear. The intention was to differentiate completely between those involved and uninvolved, the terrorists and the civilians. And I know that I did, and I know a lot of other people that did their utmost, sometimes that they're risking their own lives, to make sure that that happened.
يولخ نفس واسط نفس يولخ ساعتينت قلت نو يتايال من قدو بنقات هاي بلدي جرقا كيسي درسة ليلا كيسي يلم
שובי אל ביתי תשובי להביט בעיניי ערב שוב יורד וכבר נהיה מאוחר שובי אל חדרי זכרי שגם אם זה חורף עכשיו תסתכלי קרוב מגיע יום מאושר בעינייך יפתי נשמע האור והתום יש יום מאושר או עצב שבא חוזר פתאום יש אור של כוכב מאיר ויש את אותו חלום כמה את יפה תמיד וכמה היום שובי אל ביתי תשובי להביט בעיניי ערב שוב יורד וכבר נהיה מאוחר שובי אל חדרי זכרי שגם אם זה חורף עכשיו תסתכלי קרוב מגיע יום מאושר בעינייך יפתי נשמע האור והתום יש יום מאושר או עצב שבא חוזר פתאום יש אור של כוכב מאיר ויש את אותו חלום כמה את יפה תמיד וכמה היום יש יום מאושר או עצב שבא חוזר פתאום, יש אור של כוכבים ויש את אותו חלום, כמה את יפה תמיד